Okay, good afternoon everyone. So, this afternoon we're going to continue our discussion regarding Unit 2 Lesson 4. So, we are now here at the second challenge, which is the use of multiple languages in education can divide a nation. So, as we can see at the PowerPoint presentation, so the check sign was being placed under the column disagree. Of course, we have here an explanation, and according to the studies of other researchers that support this claim. So let me read it. So the use of multiple languages in education does not divide a nation. Rather, it can strengthen unity by embracing cultural diversity and promoting inclusion. So when a student are educated in their mother tongue alongside national or international languages, they feel seen or somehow respected and more confident than just neglecting their native languages. So this recognition of linguistic identity reduces social inclusion and helps bridge gaps between different communities. So according to UNESCO 2003, multilingual education supports social cohesion by giving all language groups a fair chance to succeed academically and socially. It also promotes mutual respect and understanding, which are essential for national unity. Countries like Switzerland, Canada, um, are strong examples of how multilingual education can thrive without dividing people. In fact, it can foster a shared sense of national identity while still honoring cultural differences. So therefore, instead of dividing a nation, multilingual education helps build a more inclusive and harmonious society. And of course, it is somehow true because when you allow people, when you use multiple languages, or you allow your student, you allow people to use their native language, their mother tongue, they somehow feel respected and they feel seen. Of course, for example, in a school, the teacher wants to only to only to teach English language or only to use English language. And of course, not all childrens are somehow good at using English language. So probably they might isolate themselves. They might not, especially for the children, they might afraid to raise their concerns or even answer in oral recitation because syempre allow me to use vernaculars. Siyempre, hindi sila nasanay na maggamit ng mga ganyang language. So, kasi naman, minsan talaga may mga words tayo na hindi natin na i-explain, lalong-lalo na kung hindi native language natin. Halimbawa, mas feel free kasi tayo or mas madami tayong na i-explain pag ginagamit natin yung native language natin kasi alam natin kung ano yung mga words. So, hindi tayo mahihirapan. So, in that way, parang binibigyan natin sila din ng linguistic rights. 'Di ba? Pag nag-allow tayo ng multiple languages education, so, syempre, nagiging, na-feel nila na respected. Kahit blaan pala ako, okay pala maggamit ng blaan. Kahit kaulo ako, okay lang pala maggamit ng kaulo. 'Di ba? Parang hindi natin natapakan yung language nila. So, that is, and also, that is their right to use their language. Kasi, tribe nila yan. Blaan sila, tribe nila yan. So, dapat lang nagamitin nila yung language nila. Like that. So, of course, hindi lang tayo maging in favor sa isa lang. Kasi, meron naman talagang instances na mahirap din naman gamitin ang multiple languages sa education. So, and also, ang sinasabi dito is, it can also divide a nation. That was stated in the challenge. So, let's say, for example, if we agree, so I don't, hindi ko nilagay dyan sa PPT, no? For, let's say, na-agree yung answer dyan. So, of course, there are also explanation to that para maging, mas strengthen yung claim. So, for example, we have here, the use of multilingual education in Southeast Asia is meant to support inclusivity, and that's true. But it can sometimes increase division in society. So we have here an example, the Philippines, our country. So we have here a program which is called MTBMLE. So or Mother Tongue Based Multilingual Education Program. And also it was launched in year 2012 in order to help the students learn better by using their native languages, because again, not all students can understand. For example, if English language, not all students are good at English language. Not all students can understand easily. So there are a lot of students that also have low pace of learning, like that. So like slow learner, so hindi nila nakocope agad yung mga instructions, yung mga lessons, especially if that ang ginagamit na language on that lesson is hindi nila mother tongue. So nahihirapan silang mag somehow ipasok sa utak nila, like that. So however, so as you can see, a study daw sa atin dito sa Philippines, there is a study by the Philippine Institute for Development Studies, which is PIDS. They found that only 9% of schools were ready to carry out the program, mainly because of lack of trained teachers and learning materials. This gap has created unequal learning opportunities, especially in rural areas, and may have widened regional and language-based division. So even though MTBMLE is a really good program for those students na mga slow learners, and for actually for all, para maka-learn sila ng mas maayos. But then the problem is here in our country, only 9% of schools were ready to carry out the program. So syempre, hindi lahat ng teachers are trained to somehow use like mother tongue or native languages. For example, especially for the teachers, let's say, I remembered nag-ask si Miss Tampos ata yun. Nag-ask siya kay ma'am regarding what if ang isang teacher is napunta or na-assign like sa mga bukid-bukid, and then ang language or native language nila doon is kanang wala ko kabalo ang teacher. So dili siya kuan. Halimbawa ang teacher Bisaya tapos ang dito ang ilang native language is Kaulo. So paano yan? Hindi man po pwede. Tapos hindi pa dyan kasi sila kabalo mag-English. So, hindi naman pwede na mag-direct ang teacher na mag-teach ng English kasi hindi naman sila nakaka-understand. So, kailangan pa yun mga translation. So, that is one of the problem. Diba? Hindi marunong ang teacher. Anong gagawin ng teacher? Kailangan pa siya mag-learn. So, paano na yan? Hindi natin alam kung ilang months pa ba ababuti ng teacher para maka-learn ng ganyang language. Tapos kailangan naman niya magturo, alangan naman. So ting klasin na tapos di siya magtudlo kay mag-practice siya. So that is one of the problems po. And also sa mga learning materials din. So we have here another example. So for example in Thailand, so it is stated here the Patani Malay or like Thai multilingual education program was introduced to support children who do not speak Thai as the first language. While the program was help improve reading and learning, it has only been used in certain areas. So not all areas are really are capable or able to do it. Diba? So somehow dilited siya hindi pa kayo siya makita nga successful, gamay lang ang percentage, so unfair sa ibang part, di ba? Sa ibang part ng area sa or sa Thailand rather. So this limited rollout may leave out other language group and increase regional inequalities. That was according to UNICEF. So these cases show that although multilingual education can benefit certain groups, it is not equally available or well supported. It can unintentionally divide communities and make national unity more difficult to achieve. So, next, let's proceed to the next challenge. So, we have here the PPT, as you can see. Most SE or Southeast nations are still in the process of nation building after colonization. Thus, it is important that national language is identified and prepared. And of course, that was true. Way back before, on the maybe 1990s, 1980s, 1960s, so masyadong uso yung mga colonization. So there are a lot of countries that being colonized by different countries. For example, here in our country, Philippines, there are a lot of countries that somehow colonize our country. We have the American, Spain, the Spanish, Spaniards, Japanese. So they colonized our country before. So somehow, because they colonized our country, allow me to use vernacular ha, naadyo mga instances nga ang ilahang mga practices good ato ang magaya even ang ilahang language. And it is true sa atin ngayon sa Philippines, yung counting na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, saan ba yan galing, di ba? Sa Spanish, sa mga Spanish yan galing, sa Spain, sa mga Kastila, diyan natin yan nakuha yung ganyang counting 1, 2, 3. And also we have some, even sa mga cuisine, di ba, may mga luto tayo na somehow kanang unsa gani na tawag term, inspired by other countries, mga specialty sa other countries, mga gigaya-gaya na to, anto na adapt na to as atoan na, like that. So, and that is true, meron talaga ma-adapt talaga natin yung mga ano pa yan, language, yung mga beliefs nila, religion, what else, sa ilang pananamit, ano ba, sa mga luto, like that. So here we have, as you can see, the check was placed under the column or option disagree. So many Southeast Asian, why disagree? Okay, many Southeast Asian countries are still building their national identity after being colonized. And while having one national language can help unify people, of course, if we have one language, it can unify us because we understand each other. We use only one language. So it's impossible that we can't understand. The language that you speak was the same as the other people are using, okay? So we have here less. Okay, so much for that. Let's continue. But, of course, even though national language can help us unify people, but relying on just one language can ignore the region's cultural linguistic diversity. And also, it is true, if we will focus on just one language, so especially here in the Philippines, there are a lot of languages that being used, diba, sa mga local areas, mga tribes, madami mga tribes dito. So we use different languages. So pag ano naman, nagfo-focus lang tayo sa like isang language, parang naapakan na natin yung language ng mga ethnic people, like that. So ano mangyayari, parang nagiging tayo, parang tinatapakan natin yung rights nila or linguistic rights, no? Like that. So if only one language is prioritized, monetary groups may feel left out, which can lead to inequality and division. In contrast, using multiple languages, especially the local and indigenous one in schools and governments, helps everyone feel included and respected. So UNESCO 2003 says that embracing language diversity in education supports peace and equal participation. And also according to Scotnab and Kangas 2000, so they remind us that language rights are part of human rights. So if the people seems or maka-feel sila nga na left out na sila, so natapakan na natin yung language rights nila or human rights nila. Kasi yung language rights are part of human rights also. So countries like the Philippines and Indonesia shows that it's possible to promote national language while still valuing local languages, something that's key to building a strong united nation. And of course, dito naman talaga sa atin, wala man tayo nagabawal. Although, na yung mga tao, Jod, nga kanang manaway sila pag na mga issue, diba, that allow me to use vernacular na lang ha, para easy to explain. May mga issue man jud dati laban na tong sa to tong Tagalog siya, diba, tapos naay Bisaya more gibash niya, although na yung mga ingana, pero still we are allowed to use our language lang. Nalang siya mga tao nga kanang bati lang siya batasan like ingana, or siguro wala siya na educate about ng mga ingana gud na kuan. So muna dali lang kay sa ilahaman na why ana, pero Ginallowed man gyapon ta nga mag-use sa atang language, diba? Diri sa Philippines. Also, we have here, of course, let us be fair naman. So, if may disagree, of course, meron naman talagang agree. Di naman lahat di naman lahat ng tao or mga researchers have same perceptions, di ba? Doesn't mean na nag-disagree ka, disagree pud ang imuhang katapad or ang imuhang classmates. So, meron talagang in favor sa disagree, and also there are people that somehow favor sa agree. So, of course, for example, let's say agree. So, in post-colonial Southeast Asia, many nations face challenges of unifying diverse linguistic and ethnic groups to create a strong sense of national identity and cohesion. Establishing a national language is essential to this nation-building process. For instance, Malaysia adopted Bahasa Malaysia as the national language after gaining independence, helping to bridge ethnic and linguistic divides created during British colonial rule, where communities were segregated by language and ethnicity. That was according to Turner 2023. Similarly, Indonesia's promotion of Bahasa Indonesia despite its origin as a lingua franca has been a key factor in fostering unified national identity across the country's many ethnic groups. That was according to Montalalu and Soryadinata 2007. And also we have here another example in Vietnam. So the use of Vietnamese as the sole official language has not only strengthened public engagement and administrative efficiency. That was according to the Diplomat 2021. So these examples shows that a common national language plays a crucial role in promoting social integration, enhancing governance, and strengthening national unity in Southeast Asia, making it a vital component of the region's post-colonial nation efforts. So as you can see, iba-iba talaga, no? Somehow, so you can see sa disagree, they also have a point. So they are more focused on like prioritizing the respect of human rights. And also in the side of agree, they prioritize the unity. Diba? Like magkaisa ang tao kasi magkakaintindihan sila kung isang language lang yung ginagamit. Well, the disagree, so they are concerned more on human rights. So, parang maaawa naman sila sa mga tao na merong mga sa atin mga native languages hindi na magamit, so parang na-disrespect sila, 'di ba? So they have their own like different explanations or claim, and also both of them has some point. So wala namang mali sa kiniklaim nila. Maganda din naman yung unity. And also maganda din yung wagtapakan yung diba, human rights, yung respect ang linguistic rights. Maganda din naman yan. So next, we have here another challenge. So let me read this. The use of multiple mediums of instruction confuses students. So as we can see, we have disagree. Using multiple mediums of instruction does not confuse students when done effectively. So if the mediums of instruction was done effectively, so of course student will not be confused. So that is the important thing. If in order for us teachers to avoid making the student confused on our instructions, so we must do it effectively. Dapat maging strategic tayo. Alam natin yung mga gagawin. In fact, so we have here a supporting research for that. In fact, research consistently shows that children learn best when taught in language they understand, especially in early years. And of course, that's true. Mas dali jud masabtan or mas madaling ma-understand ng students or even tayo, kahit malaki na tayo, mas madali talagang i-understand pag ang ginamit na instruction is yung native language mo kasi sanay ka na dun eh. So beginning Beginning education na students' first language, usually their mother tongue, supports better comprehension, confidence, and academic performance, while gradually introducing additional language builds multilingual competence over time. And according to Jim Cummins 2000, a well-known expert in bilingual education, students with a strong foundation in their first language develop better literacy skills overall, which makes it easier for them to learn second language or third languages. This is known as the common underlying proficiency theory, which has suggests that skills learned in one language transfers to others. In addition, according to Carol Benson 2004, so Carol Benson is a researcher in multilingual education. So Carol Benson emphasizes that confusion only arises when language policies are inconsistent or when teachers are untrained. Her research shows that mother tongue-based multilingual education improves participation, retention, and learning outcomes, especially in linguistically diverse country. And lastly, in Ethiopia, so Ethiopia, to those who don't know, it is somehow the oldest country in Africa. Yeah, it's the oldest country in Africa. So, Yu et al. 2007 found that children who were taught children who were taught by their language, their mother tongue rather, for at least 6 years perform significantly better in both their native and second languages compared to those who were taught in second language from the start. So of course, mahirap naman talaga magdiretso. Alam, ito is vernacular ha. Lisod kayo magdiretso ka na lang sa second language, diba? Kinanglan pa man nag-adjustment. Diba? Even sa ato, pag natin mag-learn tag mga language, diba? Halimbawa sa Korean, diba? Ginapa-translate pa natin sa ibig sabihin, anang gumawo. Thank you, Dayna. O sige. Like that. So need pa, mga bata, need nila mga ingana. Dili, basta diretso kag tudog lang English language. Tapos wala sila nabadaan na words ato. Kaya syempre, dili man ito na mother tongue. So, di pa siya pwede ingana. So, although we have disagree here, na yung mga researchers, so there are researchers that claim na nag-disagree sila sa challenge. So, gina-disagree nila ang thought sa challenge. So, we also have agree because again, as I said earlier, not all is in favor sa isa lang ka option. May iba talaga na mag-agree, may iba nga mag-disagree. So, we have here agree. So, several studies across Southeast Asia support the view that using multiple mediums of instruction can confuse students and hinder learning. In the Philippines, the implementation of the Mother Tongue-Based Multilingual Education or MTBMLE, as I said earlier, face resistance due to mismatch between the home language and the language used in the broader society, leading to confusion among students and parents. That was according to PIDS 2021. And also it is true because dito kasi sa atin, we are not capable pa on that program. Maraming mga teachers na untrained pa. Yan. So, for example, I remembered way back 2019. So, it was pandemic. So, all of the students conducted online classes, but most of them, majority uses modular learning. So I have a younger sister, so way back before she was grade 1 or grade 2, so they uses modules, like they answered modules week by week. So, allow me to use vernacular ha. So, I observe, syempre, katunga time is, diba, nagatag module. Bisaya ang mga instruction. And then, I observe na, even ako, Bisaya ako, no? Kung parents Bisaya, na-adjust ka ng mga words dito sa instruction nga, dili mo masagtan. Kaya, like, lalom na kayo siya na Bisaya language. So maglisod nagsabot hala unsa ni. So ma-confuse pud mi kay lagi sa tang time karon we are more like exposed na ta sa mga Taglish, English language. Sometimes even ang atong mother tongue good masagulan na nato mga English language to the point na naana jud mga term in Bisaya that we can't can't understand na mga laglom na Bisaya, yung mga deep Bisaya na mga words. Sometimes there are a lot of Bisaya na dili na sila kabalo unsa na siya. Nangyayari na yan sa panahon natin ngayon. And yes, that is one of the reason why sometimes the parents, the students are confused on that. And also we have here another example in Malaysia. So research found that mixing English and native language in lectures often cause frustration and weaken both language skills, particularly among students with varying proficiency levels. That was according to Muhammad et al. 2018 rather. The Southeast Asia Primary Learning Metrics or CPLM 2019 study also that showed that students not taught in their home language performed worse academically, highlighting the impact of inconsistent language use in classroom. That is according to ACER 2021. In Vietnam, English medium instruction or EMI courses challenged students with low English proficiency, resulting in reduced comprehension and academic performance. It was according to Nguyen et al. 2015. So these findings underline the needs for consistency and alignment between students' language backgrounds and the medium of instruction to prevent confusion and support effective learning. Okay, next. We have here, in the next slide, another challenge. So the use of non-dominant languages delays learning of dominant. So, sample, national, official, or international languages. So those are the dominant languages. So, we have here, of course, the check sign was under the disagree. So there is an explanation for that. So using those non-dominant languages such as local, indigenous, and mother tongue languages in education does not delay the learning of dominant language like national, official, or international ones. In fact, starting education in a child's first language builds strong thinking, reading, and communication skills that help them learn second or third language more effectively later on. So according to Jim Cummins' theory of common underlying proficiency, thus in year 2000, when children become skilled in their first language, those same literacy and cognitive skills transfers to other languages. This means that solid foundation in local languages actually supports faster and deeper learning of dominant languages like English, Filipino, or Bahasa Indonesia. For example, we have an example here in our country, Philippines. So again, the MTB-MLE, the mother tongue-based multilingual education programs that allow students to learn a native language such as Cebuano, Ilocano, or Hiligaynon from kindergarten up to grade 3. After that, they gradually shift to learning Filipino and English. So research by Walter Decker 2011 found that students in this program didn't just do well in their mother tongue, but they also showed better performance in Filipino and English later on. So that was their claim. So somehow, they are right. Pag kasi, allow me to use vernacular, pag natututo kasi, mas madali kasi tayong matuto lagi pag maggamit tayo ng mga language na paniguradong alam na alam natin. So, but hindi porket okay sa'yo, okay sa iba. So, like, it was trial and error. Not all strategies are effective to you, and not all strategies are effective to them. Maybe some strategies are effective to you, but not effective to others. So, that is also the problem, no? Iba-iba talaga. So we are born different. So okay, so much for that. So let's proceed to the next slide. So we have here a challenge. No orthographies for non-dominant languages. So as we can see, we have here agree. So the claim for that is that a major the explanation for that claim is that a major problem with using non-dominant languages in education is that many of them do not have clear and consistent writing system. Without a proper way to write the language, it becomes difficult to create learning materials, teaching reading and writing, and help students become literate. This makes it harder for students to learn the language well, which can affect their overall progress in school. So for example, in Ethiopia, so again, Ethiopia is the Africa's oldest independent country. So many indigenous languages, especially in rural region, do not have standardized writing system. So this lack of consistency make it difficult to produce textbook and teaching materials, which negatively affect the quality of education in those languages. That was according to Yu et al. 2007. In addition, in the Philippines, the Surigao-non language did not have standardized writing system also. So, resulting in inconsistencies in educational materials and making teaching more difficult. So, Liwanag 2021 pointed out important orthographic challenges in Surigao-non and stressed the need of a community driven approach to create a standard writing system that would support the mother tongue based multilingual education framework. Okay. Next, we have here another challenge. So many languages being used in a school can cause problems to teachers and students. And as we can see, the check sign was being placed under the option or column agree. So when too many languages are used in a school, it can lead to significant communication barriers. Teachers may find it challenging to manage classroom where students speak different languages, and they may struggle to provide effective instruction in multiple languages. For students, language barrier can cause confusion and make it harder for them to participate in lessons or understand the curriculum. Additionally, teachers may require additional training and sources of effectively handle multilingual classroom, which can create logistical challenges for school. And also, it is true, meron talaga mga instances na mahirap na talaga, allow me to use vernacular ha, pag sobrang dami, like daghan na jud kaayo po ang ginagamit nga language sa isa ka classroom. Syempre ang teacher maybe arangan lang kung like Bisaya mo tanan dito, or even ang uban like kaulo ba sila blaan pero kasabot sila Bisaya. So, madala-dala pa sa teacher no, kung Bisaya pod siya. Pero what if daghan na kay language jud na sobra na balik, even ang teacher daghan na kayo like kaulo na iblaan na kanang like sa Muslim pod god nga language. So, kung kunyari sila tanan kabalo sila naa sila mga ingana na native language ang mga student, tapos ang teacher is ang iya lang alam na language is Bisaya, English, Filipino lang, tapos may mga iban nga student nga dili sila kasabot like Bisaya, dili pud sila totally kasabot jud og Filipino or English, mag-struggle ang teacher. So maglibog siya, kinahanglan pa niya tuunan ang kaulo ug amblaan para lang matudlo ang ihang lesson. So that is one of the challenges pod no. So kinahanglan jud ang teacher ana og mag-train pa siya. Meron pa siya tunan. So, medyo challenging talaga siya. And, probably jud ang jud, like, naadyo mga misunderstanding nga mahitabo sa classroom. So, we have here an example in India, where there are over 100 languages spoken. School often face challenges when students come from different linguistic backgrounds. Teacher may need to navigate multiple languages which can make the learning process inefficient. This has been a particular challenge in government schools where teachers are often not fluent in all languages spoken by their students. That was according to Kumar 2014. So kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, maglisod jud ang teachers. For example, pag ang nabalaan siyang student is wala siya kabalo. So ano na yan? Ang gagawin, 'di ba? So research has shown that when a student's home language differs from the language used in school, it can negatively affect their academic performance. So, and it's true. Talaga, totoo siya. Nakaka-affect talaga yan sa performance ng student. Lalong-lalo na, di kabalo ang teacher, ana, paano ma-translate. 'Di ba? Okay lang unta kung Bisaya. Bisaya ang teacher niya, tapos kasabot siya Bisaya. Madala pa. Kapag ang teacher ang dili kabalo sa iyang language, dili po siya kabalo sa language ng teacher. Kaya sanay jud sila. Isa sa mga problems between teachers and students sa education. Teachers also face difficulties in multilingual classrooms because they must prepare materials in several languages to ensure that all students are supported, which can be challenging. Additionally, without enough language support, students may struggle, leading to poorer academic outcomes. Students tend to do better when they can learn in a language they are familiar with. That was according to UNESCO 2020. Furthermore, using too many languages in the classroom can create divisions, with some students feeling more engaged while others fall behind, which can lead to isolation and hinder learning. While multilingual education has benefits, having too many languages in one classroom can complicate teaching and learning and requires careful planning and support. So, I will not explain it na masyado, no? Kasi it's very understandable naman sa binasa ko na pag sobra-sobra na yung language, mahirap nang adjustin, ba? Probably magkakaroon ng inequality between sa student, no? For example, konti lang yung student na nakakaintindi, so kawawa yung iba. Okay, next, we have here the last challenge. So, the LEP may be clearly written, but it's a different story when implemented, given the lack of support. And also we have here, of course, the check sign was placed under the option or column of agree. So why? So here's the explanation. While many language education policies or LEPs are well structured based on solid ideas, but implementing them effectively is a challenge, especially when there is a lack of support. A clear policy is important, but it also needs strong backing in the form of adequate funding, trained teachers, appropriate learning materials, and active community involvement. So it is true as what I've said like last Monday on my report. So I said that not all countries are blessed, no? Even though all of us has blessings, we have different, like, alam mo ito vernacular, may iba-iba tayo nga mga specialties ato ang country. Ban nga country kay lahi sila na sila blessed sila ingana nga part, other countries blessed ingani nga part. So iba-iba ta ninyo. So may iba nga nasa taas, may iba na nasa baba. So ang tungod ana, so dili gyud tanan sa tibok kalibutan is makaya ning LEP, 'di ba? Lisod di siya ipa-implement. Halimbawa sa ato ang country Philippines, ba na mga MTB, MLE. So ang nahitabo, di ba, only 9% lang ang available. So kay dili tanan is kanang maka-afford ani, kay grabe ka mahal pag magpa-implement kag mga programs. Mahal jud kayo na siya. Meron ding ibang countries na afford nila pero kanang dili sila capable kung pag-abot na sa kanang mga sa actions na god. So dili sila pud maayo mo dala. So sa pud na sa mga problema. Aside sa lack of support, kung di ka kabalo mag-handle niya, daghan ka, pwede ra gud na agoy mga support pero di lang jud kabalo handle, problem pud na siya, kay dili pud na siya mahimong effective. So we have here an example again here in our country. the MTBMLE, as what I've said earlier. So actually, sa mga challenges, no, kanina, so parang sikat yung MTBMLE, palagi kong na sasabi. So itong policy na to is under the Key to 12 reform. So this program faced numerous challenges despite its clarity and strong theoretical foundations. That was according to Jasper and Tupas 2019. And also, they argue that the policy's rollout was hindered by lack of teaching materials and local languages, limited teacher training, and inconsistencies in language orthography and standardization. This disconnect between the written policy and actual classroom realities that has led for uneven implementation, particularly in under-resourced and linguistic diverse regions. So even though the LEP or LEPS is a very good policy program na ipa-implement sa usa ka school, kay like nako jud kay siya tabang na siya kanang positive na mahatag sa mga students, sa teachers, sa education good. Pero ang problema lang is ang response sa mga countries or sa mag-implement ana kay labaw sa tan gasto kaayo, kinahanglan jud kay siya mga support no, and also kinahanglan ang response nila is dapat wise sila or nindot sila mag-handle ana nga program kay dili magmatter kung daghan kag kwarta kaya nimo na i-implement, dili na siya magmatter dira, nagamatter pud na sa how you handle those things. So that's all for my report on Unit 2 Lesson 4, and I hope you understand our topics, all the challenges. So sana naintindihan nyo yung mga claims nila, agree and disagree. So you can see, I know you, as you can hear na sa mga discussions ko kanina is iba-iba talaga yung mga claims and somehow may mga points sila. So that's all. So have a good day everyone. Thank you very much for listening po.